Holy smokes! Christopher Columbus, that is no way to address the King and Queen of Spain. What is wrong with you? Okay, so you know how we're looking for a new trade route to India, right? Right. And the Earth is round, right? Right. So I'm thinking we can just sail the other way around the planet, right? Yeah. So I set sail, right? And I reach India, right? Right. Wrong. Wrong. I did not reach India. I did not. All right, get to the point. Did you know there's a whole nother freaking continent out there? Okay, and do you think I should care about this? Why? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I forget to mention there's gold everywhere? Gold? Now, I know what you're thinking, but oversimplified, Columbus didn't discover America, the Vikings did. And you'd be partially right, which both the English and the French claimed as theirs. One day, the French said, I'm gonna build some forts along here. And the English were like, could you not? And the French said, sorry, but no, I could not. And after a short battle, the French commander said, all right, we surrender. Okay, boys, pack it up. They're surrendering. Oh, sorry, was I not meant to split his head open with a tomahawk? Don't worry. It's not like this will start a 7-year-long major global conflict, which Great Britain won at pound cost. They were now broke, in a lot of debt, and had to come up with some way to repay it. So they went to the colonies and said, okay, listen up. So a huge part of the war was spent protecting you from the French, and now we have no money because of it. So I'm not sure what you're saying here. Okay, so we spent a lot of money protecting you from the French, right? Right. And now we're broke. That certainly is a pickle. Listen to me. We spent all of our money protecting you, and now we need money. Can you please pay us back some money? No. Okay, we're just gonna go ahead and tack this. Hello, shopkeep. Hello, Mr. Bungleberry. Here's the deed for your new shack. Stamp. That'll be 3 pence, please. Wait, what was that? It's the new tax. I get a stamp on any paper or documentation I make, and you have to pay for it. Would you like to see this pamphlet that explains everything? Yes, please. Okay. Stamp. 2 pence, please. This is awful. You know what? Just give me a deck of cards so I can go gamble my pain away. Okay. No. Don't do it. Stamp. Obviously, the colonists were like, hey, my dudes, this new tax legislation right here, this is BS. Until now, they had enjoyed relative freedom to rule themselves, and now suddenly Britain was asserting its control. They were especially unhappy because they didn't have any representatives in the parliament that was levying taxes on them. So they protested. Orators gave fiery speeches. British goods were boycotted, and anyone loyal to the British found themselves increasingly harassed. The whole thing actually began to take quite a toll on British business, and after just a couple years, the British were forced to repeal the Stamp Act. But we still desperately need money. What should we do? We could try taxing the colonies. Great idea. Wait, didn't we literally just try that and it failed miserably? Man, look at me. I look fabulous. Have you ever seen such a handsome boy? No siree, Georgie. No way. You're the handsomest, smartest, most popular king that ever lived, and everybody likes you. You're doing such a good job. Your Majesty? Oh, you're still here. Get the hell out. Back down. Alright, this is ridiculous. They're my colonies and I have to be able to assert my control. Repeal all the new taxes except for the one on tea. Also send 1,000 troops to Boston to take control. Oh, and make the colonists pay for them. March 5th, a band of local patriots began heckling a British guard at the customs house. More and more The British were disgusted and they punished Massachusetts with a vengeance. Can you stop? No. It didn't work. Okay, then tell the local militias to start arming and be ready at a minute's notice. And a page ordered 700 troops from Boston out to warn that the British were coming. But I'm in charge. No, 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 I'm in charge. This went on for some time until the Green Mountain Boys threatened to go home and Arnold had to concede. Wow, great job, Ethan. Very impressive. By the way, what happened to that other guy we sent to take the fort? Who? Benedict Arnold. Never heard of him. What the? King George fired General Gage, replaced him with General William Howe, and okay, the British are definitely going to retaliate for all of this, so we should probably put together a proper army. First, we need to pick a commander-in-chief, and I think we can all agree that that job should go to the man, the myth, the legend, George Washington. My friends, I am humbled and honored that you would consider me for such an important role. I did not expect for this. All right, you've been showing up in a military uniform every day for the last 10 months. We all know you wanted this, so cut the crap, George. Dude. Uncool. Throw around the I word. Hey man, looks like things aren't going your way. Remove the taxes and let's be friends? I'm gonna kick your ass. Send that to the colonies. Your Majesty, your handwriting is terrible. Are you sure? Just do it. What does it say? He's gonna lick my... Gross. So these actions played right into the hands of Patriot propaganda. The siege would end. Now they could make a move. Felt the British were too fortified, and to his credit, Washington that all men are created equal, with certain inalienable rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Of course, Jefferson had. We don't have to talk about that. On the 2nd of Missouri in favor of independence, and John Adams declared that the 2nd of July would go down as the most remembered day in American history. Then a couple days later, independence actually came into effect. It was treason, and if the king had his way, the British, guess who's back? They said, you know, if I was you right now, I'd probably sue for peace. But Washington told them to shove it hard. Nobody expected an attack in the side when Washington heard the Hessian defenses were down, and he decided to attack. A mission to convince them to join the war. And while the French generally loved any opportunity to hoodwink the Brits, they didn't want to join unless it was a sure win. So for now, Franklin spent his days chilling out and chasing tail. The British pumped Fort Ticonderoga quite easily. He then came across heavy American resistance, so he sent Howard Dingle-Dongle asking if he'd be showing up anytime soon. Meanwhile, Howard completely abandoned the plan and gone for all-out personal. Arnold wanted to take the fight to the British, but Gates wanted to wait for the British to come to them. After a heated debate, Gates, the senior officer, told Arnold to go to his room, but Arnold defied his. Great job, Horatio. By the way, what happened to that other guy who was in Saratoga? Who? Benedict Arnold. Never heard of him. Hey, George, didn't I do a great job? Taking Philadelphia and all? Didn't I? You're fired. All right, Benny, we're in. Hey, isn't this kind of funny? You know, because you're a republic trying to overthrow an absolute monarchy, and I'm an absolute monarchy helping you? Like, could you imagine if your revolution inspired my people to revolt against me, and then they imprisoned me and all my family, and they chopped all of our heads off? Could you imagine? That's called foreshadowing. Hey, I'm here to give your men a European military training. And train them he did. They learned. The war first broke out, everyone was like, how did the colonies expect to stand up to the might of the British Navy with their meager fleet of converted merchantmen, yet a British ship off the coast of Ireland and brought it back during the battle? That's a big no-no, and can have you arrested as a pirate, as an official US flag. What they came up with, William and Franklin continued negotiations. Oh good, you're finally here. Check this out. Hey ladies, I'd like to fly you like a kite, cause you're electrifying. Isn't this great? Is this what you've been doing? Yeah, why? We were sent here on a diplomatic mission to secure military support from France, not to philander with the locals. Wait, no, ladies, come back. Worst wingman ever. Governor started accusing Arnold of having pro-British sentiments. To keep the people happy, Washington wrote a letter rebuking Arnold, calling his conduct imprudent and improper, and that was too many ouchies for Benedict Arnold to handle. He asked Washington to put him in charge of the fort at West Point. Then he contacted the British, offering to hand the plans of the fort over to them and join their side. Luckily, the treasonous plans were discovered on a captured British Continental Army together through the harshest winter of the war. I'm gonna send my most loyal general, Nathaniel Greene, to the south to stop the British. Gonna have to overrule you there, George. We're sending hero of Saratoga and your biggest rival, Horatio Gates. Watch this, George. I'm gonna save the day again. Everybody will love me, and I'm gonna get your job. Here I go. And he got... Alrighty, let's go with your be defeated with conventional tactics. So he had to think outside the box. Said, hey big boy, look at me. And then the British were running out of money as the men went without pay or even basic living needs. Arms, stealing horses and supplies from the local in New York. But the French said it was a really dumb idea. And to be fair, it was. In dispatches to make it look like they would attack Clinton for aid. But Clinton was unusually chilled out about the whole thing. Cornwallis just wasn't worth it, and it needed to end now, and gave fair treatment to any colonists who had remained loyal to the Crusader. Washington retired to his home in Mount Vernon, wishing his men farewell by saying, I most devoutly wish that your latter days may be as prosperous and happy as your former ones have been glorious and honorable. Fortunately for him, a number of people wanted him to be the first leader of the new country, and by a number of people, I mean literally everyone. The first election campaign in American history was basically a grassroots effort to convince Washington to accept the office. He was sworn in on his major legislation to Congress and gave an annual State of the Union address to keep his own power in check. He stated that the US should remain. Don't just take my word for it. Ask Thomas Jefferson. Of course, to do that you would need a time machine, and that would take some math and a lot of science. If you wanted